On the latch drill assembly, there are two valves that sense the locations of the latch drill. This one at the bottom is depressed when the latch drill is all the way back, so it is the home sensor. The return sensor is on the top. The plunger faces forward and is depressed by this bolt when it goes all the way forward. Occasionally these valves do need to be rebuilt, as in the case of this one. We can hear a little air leak from the front of it up here, and I can change that air leak by pulling the stem back and forth, which indicates that the valve needs to be rebuilt. So we're going to do that. First we need an Arrow 7000 kit. We're going to take this bolt loose and that bolt loose to take this bar off from the machine so that it'll make it easier to access the bolts on the ends of the valves. Before we do that, we'll need to turn off the air. Now that we've got the air off, we can push the drill assembly forward to take the pressure off from that bolt there. I'm going to loosen this bolt here. And remove the nut from this bolt. And that'll swing out of the way so we can access the bolts on the valve. So we use a 732 Allen wrench. We'll remove the 4 bolts that are around the plunger. We will not need to remove the 4 bolts off the back part of the cylinder, only the front part. So the 4 bolts are loose. Should be able to remove the spool and the spring, and the 3 O-rings to replace. So we'll remove the 4 bolts on the other valve. So we remove the spool from that side also. So we replace the O-rings, put a little grease on the O-rings, new spring from the kit, and we can install that in the end of the valve on both sides, and then replace the bolts and the flanges. So now we're going to install the return bolts again. Now we can turn on the air. See if that leaks. There are 2 valves just like the last 2 that we did that are down here on the lock drill assembly. Again, one pointing up for return valve, one pointing down for the home valve. They were built in the same way. Got the return bolt bracket and the 4 bolts around the spool. There's a series of manifold valves along the end of the frame and the inside of the back of the frame that actuate several different cylinders on the machine. These valves can be manually activated by rotating the red actuator with a screwdriver. They occasionally need to be rebuilt also. To rebuild them, you need to take the sticker off the end of the valve. Under the sticker, we'll see the spool cap and the snap ring. So we use a pair of snap ring pliers to remove the snap ring. The plastic cap will come out, and the spool, which is spring loaded, will extend out past that. The kits for these come with a replacement spool, so we replace the spring in the spool, the O-ring on the cap, and reinsert the whole assembly and snap the snap ring back in. Sorry.